This is Rev United TV. I'm Adam. Good morning from Manchester, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. The transfer window, a slam shut. Well, no, it's not a slam shut. It's still open, like we explained last night. Just thought I'd add that in there at the start of the show. Manchester United have a lot of work to do, however, still in terms of the incomings. But this morning, we have more updates on the outgoings and where Manchester United's potential market value for certain players is at and what negotiations are going to be happening between particularly Marcus Rashford and Antony. First of all, we do have an update on Alejandro Garnacho as well. We covered Sancho last night. They're the four big players. And what Romano was saying last night as well regarding Manchester United's outgoings, we'll get into that also and where we're up to with what he has said, particularly around Marcus Rashford and Mr Gyokeres as well. Updates he was clarifying last night on the fallout with that deal. Also, Brian and Mbeumo as well, and all of your live comments. We have quite a lot to get through, and an important one to start off with Antony as well. By the way, we are talking about that Hayden Hackney story this morning also. That is in the news and is doing the rounds. It is gathering momentum, that one. But we'll start with Antony and the situation with him and where we're actually at right now. As you would have seen last night, we got the here we go for Florian Wirtz to Bayer Leverkusen. Now, that isn't the main story today, but that now, according to sources this morning and reports, is that now Leverkusen have cleared that deal. That is done. It is now full steam ahead for them in terms of incomings, and Antony is a target for Bayer Leverkusen. They are way short of the mark when it comes to Garnacho at the moment, so Antony could really come into play now with this one. We're not going to go with what Bild said over in Germany, the German publication, about Antony costing 21 million. We all know that Manchester United need a lot more than that for Antony. They're talking complete garbage. We spoke last night about that, covering that angle of things. But yes, it is now expected to... We're going to see what hand Bayer Leverkusen are going to play now that Wirtz has been done and dusted, and we've got the here we go on him. Well, Antony to Real Betis is where we start today. And the story that we were talking about around about a week ago, 5 days ago, about Manchester United representatives and Real Betis representatives flying out and meeting to discuss a permanent transfer for Antony to Real Betis. They have now tried to steal the march on everybody else. While everyone else is getting themselves sorted and settled in, while Antony's contract with Real Betis is still standing until the end of June. Obviously, July 1st is when it ends. Real Betis are apparently trying to steal the march and get ahead of everybody else in negotiations for Antony. They have got the best contact with Manchester United at the moment because of the previous loan deal, the one we were just talking about then that ends this month. Antony doing so well at Real Betis. Betis not in the Champions League, but still in Europe next season. I don't know what the financial situation is and why this meeting has took place. Like we said, Johnny Cardoso, who has been sold to Atletico Madrid now, from Real Betis, and Romano confirming that, may have freed up the funds for them to go in and make a permanent deal offer for Antony. And that's the rumour that's going around regarding where the funds might have come from for Real Betis. They have sold Cardoso, so that deal now done, funds available. Now it's about structuring a deal that suits Manchester United. This will fully be on probably the instalment package deal again that Manchester United would offer. And obviously this is where it gets very, very complicated with deals, because we still owe a lot of money on Antony's existing transfer. The value of that is going to have to be met, but obviously the instalment payments are going to have to be the same from Betis in what we're paying out at the moment as well. I'm guessing for Manchester United it may be a bit less because the value is less. It just depends how long Manchester United are willing to spread the instalment payments out from Real Betis for Antony, because they cannot afford to buy him outright, pretty much like any club wouldn't be able to do with any transfer. But and the situation with that is that Antony ideally would like to stay at Real Betis, but is very aware of the interest from elsewhere. There are big clubs in for Antony, massive clubs in for Antony, namely Atletico Madrid, obviously a big competitor and a big rival of the Seville club, Seville and Real Betis in La Liga. In a better position, got Champions League football. Antony back in the Brazil squad with Ancelotti as well, with his time. Look, there is no way, just to make this clear, there is no way that Antony comes back to Manchester United. He knows that he's not going to get in the Brazil squad for the World Cup if he's at United. He isn't going to get the playing time. He is trying to push and manufacture the move away from United just as much as clubs are trying to take him away and Manchester United are trying to move him on. So this won't be a complication in terms of the player digging his heels in or trying to stay or look for better wages or things like that. Antony knows, and this is where we've always had the advantage with Antony over, say, Rashford or Sancho and players like this, because we know about the wage situation with both of them players. We'll talk about Rashford in a minute with his, but Antony is in a position where, yes, he's on high wages, but I think he understands more than anybody, and I think this is why his options are open right now. So effectively what you're at is Antony getting this fantastic season, having a brilliant season for Real Betis. The love that he's got from the fans there, he feels like everything is in place and is the right club for him to go. And then his agent at the end of the season saying, well, basically just steady on a little bit. Let's see what other options are out there and let's see what else is going on. First of all, before we jump into Real Betis, because we might get better wages elsewhere. So his agent then steps in and says, well, you've got Atletico Madrid offering, you've got Juventus offering, Bayer Leverkusen's coming in, having got rid of Wirtz. So let's just wait it out a little bit. So United's options have opened up with Antony, and Real Betis are the ones that are making the move, the first move for him. Now, United would ideally just like to get a deal done with Betis because they've dealt with them before, and this would be a lot easier to get the deal done with them. It makes sense because obviously Antony loves it there. You're not going to get an issue from the player side. I just believe that I think, are probably going to come up short and are going to have to go above and beyond to try and get Antony in, which I don't think is there and available to them financially. And so that, I think, is where we're actually at with Antony and Betis at the moment. It just depends. Are the stories correct about them not being able to afford Antony outright? Has that sale of Cardoso actually gone through and given them the money to buy Antony right now? All we know is for definite that there is talks going on right now between Betis and Antony. And even I think the Muppeteers last night said there is a bid imminent now in the next few days from Real Betis to Manchester United for Antony. This is now getting close to at least having an official bid on the table for Antony, and the ball really starting to roll. So this, I think, now is the crucial stage of the Antony saga. Well, not so much a saga, because I think he should be one of the easy ones to get out of Manchester United this summer. So that's where that situation is with Antony right now. Moving on to Marcus Rashford, and quite clearly, Fabrizio Romano last night making it obvious of where the situation is with him. Antony is one thing. Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, a completely different ball game altogether. Now, Marcus Rashford, in Romano's words, has got a 40% chance of leaving Manchester United to join Barcelona because in Romano's words, there has been zero contact between Barcelona and Manchester United. There is no offer. There is no communication at all. There has been contacts between the player and the club, as in Rashford and Barcelona. We know this because of the meetings with Marcus Rashford's agent and Deco. So that has happened, but Romano making it pretty clear that Marcus Rashford's still in the wilderness at the moment. There is no club that has officially come forward for Marcus Rashford yet. And the noises that are going around now are exactly that. They are noises with Marcus Rashford. Everything is just starting to be, I think, negotiated now and talked about behind the scenes for these players at Manchester United. And we're trying to basically move players on. We're trying to get the talks done now, so when the window reopens again, United can start moving. But I think with everything that's happening with Bryan Mbeumo and the confidence that there is around that deal happening within the next week, in fact, for Bryan Mbeumo, I think right now we're looking at trying to get and secure some deals for players to leave Manchester United, and I think that is the most important thing right now, because it does look like the Mr Gyokeres situation is gathering a lot of momentum now. And Romano again last night on the on the Victor Gyokeres situation, pretty much reiterating what everybody else was saying. So we know that this is now genuine with this fallout with Gyokeres. And Romano's words last night were, Gyokeres is angry. Why? Because there was an agreement between the player's agents and Sporting that the player would be allowed to leave this summer for a transfer fee of around 65 million euros, less than 60 million quid. This was dependent on payment terms, instalments, etc. So a club had to meet that, and obviously then the deal would go through, which apparently Manchester United, other clubs are willing to go with. Why this agreement and not paying the value of his release clause 100 million? Because the player has always been serious and professional. Last summer he received many offers but decided to stay, and in January he had a chance to leave but decided to stay. Therefore, out of appreciation, Sporting then agreed to let him leave for this reasonable sum, 65 million euros. But now the club is asking for an amount higher than 65 million and perhaps up to 80 million euros, like we said last night. And for this reason, the player may not be happy with the club's behaviour, which has made the situation tense. Let's see what happens, but I still see Victor Gyokeres leaving Sporting this summer. So Romano pretty much saying now exactly where the situation is with Gyokeres. And in the last hour, actually, we've had an update from Christopher Michael as well, who is an independent journalist as well, who does work for a few other publications also, has said that Manchester United and Gyokeres are in contact. The striker has signalled that he can imagine a transfer even without Champions League. Man United is not without a chance in this bidding for Gyokeres. It's basically sell Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, blah, 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 and the deal might happen. But there is a realism and there is an understanding between Gyokeres and Manchester United right now that he would go there now. He would move there in a heartbeat. He isn't bothered about Champions League football. So he's been sold by the project, as we've said. The conversations are continuing, but Manchester United are stuck with this situation now of Victor Gyokeres having this fallout with Sporting, because United are not going to go in and spend 80 million euros on Victor Gyokeres. If Sporting stand by what they believe is right and Gyokeres doesn't, if Sporting get their way, Manchester United are really going to struggle with this transfer. It isn't going to happen. Basically, is what people are saying, and that is the big concern with everything that's going on now regarding Victor Gyokeres. It's not so much a concern; it's more of a realistic look on what's happened over the last couple of days. And Gyokeres wants to move away. He will not be playing for Sporting next season. And that, I think, is his stance on this. This was the whole social media deleting episode the other day. The fallout between the agents, the player and the club because of the agreement that was in place. We all know that gentlemen's agreements really contractually don't count for nothing. And that's the problem that he's got. He's arguing a point of a discussion that was had between him and the club and his agent, which isn't really down on paper. And now what was said, and somebody did come into the show last night, a fan from Portugal, is saying that Victor Gyokeres is about to out everything within that conversation that was had between him and the club. He apparently has got the evidence which shows the conversation took place, and he's about to drag the club through the mud. Where everyone is at Sporting right now, he has a love and affection for the football club, but this has to be serious. If someone like Gyokeres, who's just given everything to this club and loves this club and is idolised by the fans, which he is about to drop this bomb on the club and just blow everything up, then there is seriously some misdemeanour or something going on behind the scenes. There is a problem, and I think Gyokeres has come out and has come out fighting on this one, and has made it very, very clear that the shit is about to hit the fan. That is where we're at with Gyokeres. And where United stand from this, it's hard to gauge. At the moment, the fight is between the player and his parent club, and United can't do anything. Financially, we know where we're at. So all United can do is do what we've just spoke about here, is securing deals for the likes of Antony, trying to get them over the line, trying to get them sealed and done. That's where United are at right now. There is nothing else that we can actually do to manifest anything or manufacture any sort of move for Victor Gyokeres. Sadly, right now, we have to just wait in the wings and see. But what this does give us, with all of this confusion and all of this fallout, it gives us time to get moving with these deals for the likes of Antony. And this deal now, and the communication between United and Betis has been going on for over a week now. So we're expecting this bid to come in, and that really just kicks everything off. Where they'll come in, what the bid will be, no idea. No idea where this is going to be, but what it is going to do is give Manchester United that first little bit of room to go out and maybe stand and look at their position regarding making a bid for another player. It's been talked about that Manchester United don't need to sell to buy Gyokeres. It's talked about that United do need to sell. I think the way I look at it, looking at the finances, Manchester United can afford to go out and buy Gyokeres, but are unwilling to because of the fear that we cannot move the other players on. I think that's where the being safe is what I feel anyway. And that's only my opinion on that. There's nothing concrete or definite about that statement. I just feel like United want to move some players on anyway, just to make the room in the squad. And obviously, you would always feel more confident, even if you're spending and you know you can obviously handle that finance and can afford it. If you have made room behind the scenes anyway, so you can comfortably afford it, you're always going to feel better. And I think United do feel confident of moving quite a few players on. I've seen one report saying that 9 players are going to be moved on from Manchester United this summer. Honestly, the way that they report them and the way that they break them down, the 3 of them have already left in Evans, Lindelof and Christian Eriksen. So they're counting them as part of the 9. So we're looking at 6 more players, and they're obvious players, aren't they? You've got Malacia, you've got Rashford, Sancho, and you've got Antony. So there you're looking at, there's 7 all of a sudden. You've got Garnacho. There's 8, and obviously we're talking about Rasmus Højlund now, who would be your 9th, maybe Andre Onana. It's quite easy to look at, and when you look on paper and you see 9 players leaving, 10, 12 players leaving, whatever it may be, it seems like a lot, but the reality is this is how bloated Manchester United's squad actually is, and the work that's involved in getting deals done has to start now and has to start early, because they are going to take time. We talked about Jadon Sancho last night. We just heard about what Romano said with Marcus Rashford. We are nowhere near getting them players out the door and getting any fee for them. That right there counts to about 65 million quid coming in for Manchester United, which is massive. I do believe that right now United are probably going to have to play the long game with Sancho and Rashford this summer. Eventually, hopefully something happens later on. But Antony and Garnacho are the key transfers right now with Manchester United, and giving them a little bit of room to actually manoeuvre as well. Corriere dello Sport, we were talking yesterday, obviously, regarding the situation with Joshua Zirkzee and an Osimhen bid. Now, Osimhen, again, just to go back on that one, like Manchester United could afford to get Victor Osimhen in, but the stance with Victor Osimhen is that the wages he wants are not so much the substantial and the size of them. It's the fact that he wants them without any bonuses. He wants them up front, and there is no concern about ever dropping wages, i.e. 25% coming off if we're not in the Champions League. He wants guaranteed wages, basically. That's the problem that most clubs have got with him. He doesn't care about incentives. He wants his money up front without having to earn his bonuses as such. And that's a problem for a lot of clubs, not just Manchester United. That's a Premier League problem, that one, because most Premier League clubs do have the bonus incentive scheme in, and a lot of them do have the deduction scheme in as well if certain levels are not met, i.e. qualifying for the Champions League. But again, Corriere dello Sport have come out. Manchester United have rejected a proposal from Inter to sign both Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. United have made it clear Højlund is available for the right price. So United have stood their ground. This is Corriere dello Sport, again reported from the Italian side, saying United have now actually rejected bids for both Rasmus and Joshua Zirkzee. The stance on Rasmus Højlund, I think, as we all know, being that the right price comes in, he can go. I think that's one that could actually start to ramp up now, or vamp up over the next couple of weeks. Again, I stand by the fact that I just don't see someone paying what Manchester United want for Rasmus Højlund. I'm not getting overly excited about Rasmus going. I'm not getting overly excited about a deal being close. I still have my doubts over Rasmus leaving Manchester United. I just don't see anybody offering Manchester United more than 40 million quid for him. Whether or not they will be happy to go with that loan with obligation, I have no idea. I've absolutely no idea. But my personal stance on this is that there is definitely interest in him. We can see it. But nobody is going to give Manchester United what they want. United are in the realms where they want to stand their ground, which is fine. No problem with that. Don't get taken for a ride or ripped off by anybody. And I'm happy with that stance. But United do need to bring players in and do need to move other players on. So at one point, it's going to be who bluffs first, who moves. Because United won't be able to hold on to this forever. If they want to make these deals happen for Ruben Amorim, and they are struggling to sell players, they may have to take the loss. They may have to take that cut on the price that they want for these players. That, I think, is where this is going to start to come to a head. And I don't think it's going to be this month. I think we're looking into July when it really starts to count for these players. United would ideally like to get as much business done before the players come back to pre-season training. And then it all starts to get a little bit awkward. Ruben has to see the players. The players actually know that Ruben doesn't want him because he's given the go-ahead for these players to leave. Everything gets awkward. Try and get business done as quickly as possible, so you don't have that scenario on the training ground. I think is where Manchester United really need to act on these players. But I then understand, and it comes back the other way. It's nigh on impossible to make that happen because the players right now, I don't think, are willing to move, and that's the other problem you've got. They're just going to stand firm. And then United are really stuck in that position. So that's pretty much on the outgoing situation at the moment. There is another story regarding AC Milan coming in now for Alejandro Garnacho. Now, Garnacho, as we reported, is wanting to go to the Premier League, but still apparently open to going elsewhere. So there is nothing off the table with Garnacho. There is nothing completely dead. It is a case of he is open to every move out there. He's open to moving abroad, to Italy, to Germany. He wants to just obviously see what comes in first of all. Fair enough, no problem with that. Chelsea look like they're fully on in Gittins now, and that's where the Borussia Dortmund situation came about. Jadon Sancho wants to use and abuse Dortmund and Manchester United again, i.e. get the loan move to a club that he loves, but still having his options open and not being fully committed to Dortmund, and take the money that Manchester United stupidly gave him, like we covered last night. So Gittins coming in also takes Chelsea out of the equation for Garnacho, and AC Milan apparently are willing to offer 50 million for Garnacho. I mean, talk to me in the chat, everybody. Again, it's the Garnacho price which is coming in. By Leverkusen's valuation is at 38 million. Napoli's is at approximately 45 million. Now AC Milan are in at 50. Manchester United are looking to try and create a bidding war for Garnacho, as we know. But at the moment, there is no definite concrete offers again on the table. But there is a lot of movement around this deal now. And I said at the top of the show, the important sales for Manchester United right now, what we need to concentrate on, are Garnacho and Antony. Rashford and Sancho, unfortunately, are going to drag their heels out, as you'd expect them to. And United really struggling to move players on in terms of the big wages and where they're at. It is a sad state of affairs with big professional players like Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. And you know what, if you're looking at that England side right now and how abysmal they are, you'd have thought, you know what, I've got a great chance here. A great chance of being in this World Cup. And it could be my last World Cup, you never know. But no, all they're thinking about is the money. That's it. And it's sad. It really is. And that's what Manchester United are dealing with. So Garnacho and Antony, positivity. I mean, them two leaving will give Manchester United probably enough room to make Gyokeres happen. And then we can deal with the ones after that, which we're going to move on to next with the incomings. But I want to get your chat rocking and rolling first of all. So please do pile into the live chat, everybody. Good morning. Thank you everyone who has already given the video a like. Absolutely brilliant. And please do keep liking the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As you can see, the ticker is ticking away there, getting closer and closer. We want that 90k mark before the start of the season, so please subscribe and make sure that you hit that bell notification to be fully updated on all Man United news. That's what we bring here on FUTV United TV. I'm just rocking the retro training top again. There was a problem last night with the website regarding our kit partner, OK Jerseys. All fixed now. So everybody who was messaging last night, thank you for informing me. There has been a upgrade on the website, which is why there was a delay and a lag. Everything is back to normal near enough this morning. So if you want to go on, the link is in the description. Some of the mods will drop it into the live chat for you. A lot of people have been after that purple jersey that I've been wearing constantly, just advertising it. It's all there on the site, everybody. If you use my link there in the chat and in the description, you will go through now to the website. Everything has been fixed. Let's get into the super chats. Ant says, calling it now, playing false nine next season. Oh, no, Ant. I know what you are, and I don't want people to start worrying. I don't want people to start thinking that Manchester United are the same as what it was. We're not doing good business. We are doing fantastic business at this football club right now. All I'm saying is just be aware it is very, very difficult for Manchester United to operate with the situations we've got. Give it time. Things will work out. And don't let it worry you too much is what I'm saying right now. Business is still being done and things are happening behind the scene at Manchester United. We just need to be patient with a couple of these deals. Just think positively, like we can move the likes of Garnacho and Anthony on, and that's two of the big ones out of the way, and that should give us enough to get Victor Gyokeres in. Arteta out if we sign Garnacho. I'm fuming, says Zane with a super chat. Oh, mate, go for it, buddy. Go for it. To be taking your man Martinelli down. Argentina versus Brazil on the left wing of Arsenal. Never mind. You can deal with him anyway, mate. That scrub, Luke Shaw and Onana need to leave now, says Amino. Honestly, Luke Shaw is getting away with it, isn't he? Someone said this to me the other day. I think someone super chatted on a live show. What about Luke Shaw? He's getting away with it again. United have got so many bleeding priorities to deal with right now. It's annoying. It really is. But that's where we're at, unfortunately. If someone comes in for Luke Shaw, I'm sure United would sell him, because I think he makes up our 7th centre-back at the football club for this season when everybody's fit, which is ridiculous, isn't it? But look, well stacked in the centre-back situation as it is at the moment. Luke Shaw cannot play wing-back. I'm sorry. He hasn't got the end product, and I don't think he's got the engine or the fitness to do that role. So he is a centre-back. If someone did come in, I'm sure United would be open to offers, but who is brave enough to take Luke Shaw on? Sorry. And that will come. I think Ben Jacobs was saying it yesterday. Manchester United's priorities are all there, and then towards the end of the window, we may get movement on the goalkeeper. But until then, it's still a no at the moment. No movement on the goalkeeping situation. Obviously, we're expecting Vitek and Bayende to be back next month, and then we will deal with them. They could be sold on easily for Manchester United and profit made on that one as well. So again, little deals being done like that can help Manchester United in this window in bringing incomings in. Let's not forget, Vitek and Bayende are on wages. They're on decent money combined. So again, it's another little chunk off at the wage bill for United and money in, which is always going to help towards getting another player through the door. Andreas with a super chat says Gyokeres is worth the higher price as well. I hope that the outgoings are earlier so that we can buy more players. Any news on a new goalkeeper? Andreas, I think I just said it then actually on that one. I didn't know you'd sent that super chat, but there you go, buddy. Tom, welcome back to the Members Club, mate. Love that, pal. I didn't know you was out, pal. Keith, thank you for that super sticker, buddy. Kevin, sorry, I said the name wrong. Zane with another super chat says, you have signed Cunha only. We have Zubimendi, who will make more of a defence. Is that supposed to say? Difference, I think you're supposed to say there. You need at least 5 signings to make top 4. I talked about Zubimendi yesterday. You've basically lost Partey and now you've bought Zubimendi. You where you was last season, mate. You still don't have a striker. United have got Cunha in. United have got Mbeumo in. We are actually ahead of you in terms of being stronger than what we was last season right now. We're not even up there competing with the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool. I know this, but Arsenal at the moment, you're falling further behind, mate, because City have taken you and Liverpool are moving further away from you, mate. So ultimately, yeah, unless you do sign a striker, you're going to be in a top 4 fight. That's it, mate. Your title chances are dead. So get on with signing your striker and concentrate on the Gunners, Zane. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Just a little warning shot for you there, pal. Block says, I'm going to buy some footy jerseys from your sponsor. What's the sizing like, mate? Same as the real thing. 90k incoming. Yes, mate, it is coming. I love it. The sizing on the tops, by the way, go 2 sizes up is the rule of thumb on it. There is a size guide thing there for you all to follow anyway on every single page. So if you click on a shirt, scroll down the page, the size table and the sizing information is all there. Weight, height, everything. It's quite detailed, so you should be able to get the right one that is good for you. But rule of thumb is usually for me, but I am like 100 kilos and 6'4", so yeah, it's difficult for me. So yeah, I usually go big, 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 as in extra. But yeah, just read the guide. It's dead easy actually, and it explains it all. Let's get some more let's get some more comments in. We can all go on holiday until July 1st. I can't afford one, but looking forward to our heat wave, which is on the way. Is it? Are we getting a heat wave, Babs? I hope we are. I really do. Can you imagine if Shaw got a testimonial and he picked up a knock in the warm-up and couldn't take part? Testimonials are dead, aren't they now? Does anyone have them anymore? Oh, God, I remember Phil Jones's. He said, what was it? He said there'd only be his parents there to support him. I think Phil Jones knew what was going on. Let's see what else we've got in here now. Oh yeah, I am safe. Anana saying, I'm safe, baby. Thank you, Sancho and Rashi, for making things difficult. I'm a lucky man. I think that I get what you're saying there. Mate. PC Master Terrace. It is like other players sat back like Shaw and Arna. Well, the main issues and priorities get dealt with. A normal football club this window would be dealing with the likes of Onana, Luke Shaw, and things like this. And we would have been debating the likes of him, Maguire, Onana. That's what we would have been looking at. But there's that much issue and that many problems at Manchester United. It's been completely overwhelmed. And that, I feel, is the problem and the worry with the Man United fan base right now. I think that's where United are struggling. And I think everybody knows it. Unfortunately, it's going to be what is this summer. We've got a couple more summers of this, I think. And then eventually it will all be weaned out and Man United can finally move on. It's just going to take time, people. That's all. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just what it is at the moment, and we have to be patient. Do what we can to get the right players in for Ruben Amorim. This window is all we should be concentrating on. If not everybody can leave, and some players are having to be loaned out, and then it goes on to next summer, and then them players move. Then it's just the necessary. But we are trying to move out the obvious players and headaches, so Ruben can concentrate on what's happening. And then bring in the right players in that midfield role, which is key, because we was talking last night about how much Manchester United would need to spend if, for instance, we believed in what Ben Jacobs said and a couple of other reporters, like the Athletics' Laurie Whitwell, who says Manchester United still want to buy the 9, then an 8, and then move on the goalkeeper. That's going to push Manchester United upwards towards, if we're talking about the targets we are, the £300 million mark, unless United go for a lesser target in midfield. Now, there was a story last night which was doing the rounds, which isn't going to please anyone because it makes you feel like it's the old type of United, but a $9 million relegation clause in Wilfred Ndidi's contract at Leicester has been talked about. I'm going to leave that one there and let you all have a meltdown about that, and then move on to a real story which I think carries a little bit more significance, which is Manchester United long-term target, Aidan Hackney. Now, midfielder at Middlesbrough has been spoken about quite a lot in several reports by a lot of journalists. In terms, like going back to June, there's a report here that I've seen. Manchester United have internally discussed the idea of signing Aidan Hackney from Middlesbrough. Both Ruben Amorim and Jason Wilcox admire the midfielder and see him as a great fit in a midfield too. A sale of Casemiro or a midfielder could be key to funding the move. and that was back in June. Manchester United are very interested in Aiden Hackney, and he's been given the green light from Middlesbrough to leave this summer. United see him as one of the best young midfielders in the country. It's reported that his fee is approximately 22 million. Somewhere around that market value for him right now. Whether you think that is good or not, whether you've watched him a lot, I'm going to be honest and say I've not watched too much of him. I've seen little clips and a couple of bits from him. I cannot even judge if this player is up there right now. Obviously, now that Michael Carrick has been sacked by Middlesbrough, could this move this deal on even more? Are Middlesbrough looking to salvage financially what they were probably hoping would be a playoff position this season in the Championship? All of that comes into the equation here, and that I think is where we're actually at right now. I'm going to move on to Hackney in a minute and get your thoughts on him. Should United be looking at a Championship midfielder? Does that worry you that we're going down the road of cheaper options right now? Or is this good because we're bringing in a younger midfielder who could develop into a good one at a cheaper price and then probably go and bust everything on the window next summer and get a real number 8 in? Is he better than what we've got is the question I'm asking, because we've just had an update from the Mail Sports on Antony, which has just come out this morning, which says Real Betis want further talks with Manchester United over a proposed deal to sign Antony. They want another loan with an option to buy of around 35 million. So it looks like these talks are of Real Betis really trying to get another loan for Antony and not a permanent deal like reported. So there's two different stories flying around right now. One is good, one is bad. One was the bid from Betis and one was a loan offer. I'm not concerned about it because of what we said earlier on. The concern some people would have is that United can't sell Antony, and obviously that then doesn't give money to the transfer kitty this summer. Or you could look at it and say he's got loads of other options, and Real Betis are at the bottom. They've tried to get in early because they are in with Man United right now, and if they negotiate another loan for Antony, the Manchester United transfer window, I think, is coming down to the likes of Garnacho being sold and the importance of that. But I can't see it. I don't see United loaning Antony out. He has to be sold. And they're looking at 35 million after this season, which obviously would give United a bit of profit on Antony. But then again, we've still got to pay the instalment for him this season. I don't think United are too concerned about that because that's just day-to-day running. But what it would do is block out any finances that we would put forward as in a package of an actual transfer fee and a contract for someone like possibly Victor Gyokeres. I've said this before, like Gyokeres is probably similar wages to Antony, so United could calculate that in. This is if Antony is sold by United. And the transfer fee would probably fit in line with going off the prices of what Gyokeres is with what we're already paying for Antony in instalments. So ideally, United need to move Antony off the books completely and just replace him with a similar package to what it would be for bringing Victor Gyokeres in. But the Mail are saying that it's a loan offer now for Antony, and United need to move away from that. And they will take the criticism that comes their way, Manchester United, if they loan Antony and are not able to then move on their other targets. There is a lot that we can still do, but this doesn't help, I don't think, right now. But give me your thoughts on that. But Aiden Hackney, let's get on to that one back again. I just brought up that Antony story simply because it just dropped on to my screen now. But Hackney, would he be the right fit for Manchester United? Look, 22, has had time, has got experience, is obviously physically developed, good quality player. He's just never played in the Premier League, and that is the big concern, isn't it? 22 million. Seems cheap, seems fair, a lot would say, as well. But you look at some of them Championship players, and you look at the likes of Joe going to Dortmund, playing Champions League football now. And sometimes they are worth the risk. But again, I'll keep saying this, and my stance on these Championship players and players who haven't got the experience in the Premier League, if you're going to buy a player a bit cheaper who hasn't got the experience, then you're always hoping that he's going to be coming into a well-run club and a team that is on the up. And basically, what we're looking at here is, I just feel like right now, Manchester United are not in a place. They're not completely developed, I don't think, in terms of what we need for a player like that to come in. And by that I mean that United right now are not in a position that Dortmund are in. Everybody knows their role. The team is running well. And you can bring a player in because you know exactly where he's going to slot in. Manchester United are talking about getting rid of a dozen players to bring in about 5 or 6 players with no style of play pretty much implemented yet. We just have a plan. And he has to come in with nothing really established in Manchester United's side. That's my biggest concern with it. It's not worrying. Remember, we were interested in Adam Wharton. He came from the Championship. Yeah, again, and that's the point I'm making, Gehan. It's a good point that you make here. Like Job, Wharton, players like this coming in can actually smash it. But they're coming into an environment at Manchester United which is a little bit crazy and a little bit all over the place at the moment. And that, I think, is the concern for not just the player but us, the fans, that we could be spending money on a player that really isn't going to feature that much for Manchester United because there isn't any need for rotation this season, or not as much need for rotation, with it only being games within a domestic calendar. So that, I think, is a little bit of an issue for us as well. Adam, can the club of this size have an excuse of being overwhelmed while offloading players that are absolutely necessary? This is how a professional organisation run. But the professional organisation that was there before with the old regime has caused a monumental issue for this current regime to deal with. And they are stuck and backed into a corner with this. A super chat in from Glenn says, do you think the Ruben song will carry over to next season, or is it normally new songs for a new season? No, it will carry on. It will be the same one going through this season because we know it annoys opposition fans as well. How big I go on shirts, mate? 118 kilos, 58-inch chest. I think they do go up to, I think that's a quadruple XL or something around that mark, to be honest, going off normal sizes, mate. Something like that. They do go right up in sizes. So what you would go out and buy a shirt for, just go up by 2 on that, mate. That's basically what you do, and it should be the same. But it has the weight and height guide on the website as well for you to pick the right shirt, buddy. A little bit crazy. I've seen mental institutes are more sane than United have been lately. Wilcox, no, he's not on holiday in Greece, Babs. He came back at the same time over the weekend, so he is back to business. That was a little joke that I was talking about on yesterday's show, everybody, as well, if you didn't see it. I think you did anyway. Most of you did. We need to blend, but Amorim will only have a limited time next season, so he needs players he wants now. It's very true, Andy. It's something that I've been saying quite a lot. He needs something that's going to kick off and hit the ground running next season. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same predicament again, where we're talking about Amorim being sacked and another manager coming in, and then his players taking over. I mean, I listened to Louis van Gaal's interview the other day about a manager not having the full say on getting the transfers in. I'm sorry, football has moved on from managers having the full say on what players come in. The manager wants a certain characteristic of player, the football structure, and sporting directors and whatever else is working in that structure go out and find them players and give him an option. Look at what Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool and that team that he built. There were players there that he wanted, that his structure and his scouts and sporting directors told him are not going to fit for him. They are there and specific for a job, and that's why it's so important to have the right people working above you, because they know what you need. They're watching the same style of football. Wilcox is on the training ground. He's watching Amorim's sessions. He's watching the academy week in, week out. He's watching every game of United. He's watching everything. This man, attention to detail in Wilcox, and what he does is something that United just haven't had in this department before. And this is why I do feel a lot more confident in certain things happening for Manchester United this window. So that, I think, is the most important thing in this. There isn't just Ruben Amorim signings. There has to be a little bit of understanding that the structure and what you're paying for and the people that are in working at United need to do their job as well. And that's, I think, is where the balance is in getting the right players in at Manchester United. Adam, trust me on this one. Hackney is a bargain at 20 million. All right, boxing. I'll take your word on that one, buddy. I'm happy that people are actually looking at players like Hackney. Adam, regarding Hackney, 22 million is too much for an inexperienced player. Need to reduce the price to give low wages will reduce risk factor if it isn't done or worked out. Look, let's look at it this way. United are not going to spend 22 million on Hackney if that's the price. United will probably look at maybe going 15 million with add-ons or something like that. And the add-ons will be difficult to make. Remember when everyone was saying that Man United spent 30 million on Patrick Dorgu in January? It's not. It's 25 million. And then his add-ons, which are very difficult to get to. And that was the deal. United would probably spend about that. Remember, the base value is going to be a lot cheaper than what people are actually saying these players are coming in for. And it's very difficult all the time to meet them bonuses. If they meet them bonuses, are you bothered? No. Why? Because that player has excelled and met them bonuses. So he's done well for us. And he's worth that price then. So don't worry about the price for Hackney. It'll probably be between 15 and 18 million. And then there will be add-ons probably on top of that. But let's be honest, if he does smash them add-ons and we end up paying 22 million, it's because he's absolutely destroyed it. And that's what we want. Of players actually hitting them marks that do cost us a little bit more money, but only because they've done well. And that's how a football club needs to run. That's how transfers need to actually be done. So that's where we're at with that one. Just to go over everything again from the top of the show, everybody. Antony is in discussions, or United are in discussions right now with Real Betis. There is two different stories going around about Antony. One saying that Betis want the loan with option of a 35 million fee next summer. Not good enough for Man United. It's not even an obligation. And one story is saying that we are actually negotiating a permanent deal. Again, two different stories. And which one is right, I don't know. All that's definite is United and Betis are in communication right now. Romano has said there is still no contract, zero club-to-club contract between Barca and Manchester United, and that deal is nowhere near done. He's at 40% leaving United for Barcelona right now. Gyokeres has kicked off. It is officially kicking off, and he's about to drag Sporting through the mud to try and make something happen. United have to, unfortunately, stand back and see this one play out a little bit. But what that does do is give United the chance to make these sales happen so we can afford Gyokeres when that moment comes around. Aidan Hackney is a definite target for Manchester United this summer now in the midfield area, and United could move forward with a bid after everything else has been done regarding the forwards that they're looking to bring in, i.e. Mbeumo and Gyokeres. We're expecting Mbeumo updates over the next couple of days, and I'll keep you posted on them. We could even see something today on him and where we're at with that one. And stand by, we are almost there with that. And that is pretty much it. Nothing on the goalkeeping front. No updates on that yet, apart from obviously Manchester United still looking for a keeper, and the angle is the number 2. But for now, that is everything done, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you, mods. Great job in there as always. I'll keep you updated throughout the day, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Give the video a like also. Another 500 live likes in the bag, everybody. Thank you so much. And we will see you all later on in the day. Have a good one, everybody. A link is in the description now for the shirts. Again, the website is back up, everyone, just so you know. And I'll speak to you all later on. Have a good one, everybody. And stay tuned.